Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. It is finally time to get busy after this log pile. The temperatures are starting to come down. We are rarely seeing anything in the 80s anymore, mostly 60s and 70s. Perfect time of year to work on firewood. But we also need to be realistic. I've been saying that if I do one basket a day, I'll be able to tackle this, log pile plus the other one sitting over there in 6 to 12 months. And honestly, the way things are going around here with projects that keep piling up and things we got to get done, I just don't see it happening, and I don't want to see this wood go to waste. But what I want to work on today is getting our stockpile for the Yappa restocked. And what I have found is as we are working through logs and cutting them down from 25 foot to 12 foot for the Yappa firewood processor, we'll come across some logs that are either too big, bigger than the 14-inch max diameter that the Yappa can take, or they're too crooked. And I think I found another way that I want to try to sell those logs that I don't feel like fooling with. So here's the pile of logs we have to work from. This is all stuff that we had thinned out of our woods this spring. We took down all of the dead or dying trees or any multiple stem trees that weren't ever going to be valuable for lumber to make room for the valuable trees to continue to get more valuable. And so we took out, there's a whole nother pile over there. There's a whole nother pile here. Probably 10 triaxle loads of logs. And like I said, I got to be realistic about what I can really get done before this rots. I don't want to let it go to waste. That would be a shame. But stuff like this, nice straight firewood pole, telephone pole looking trees that are smaller in diameter, these just run through the Yappa so fast. You can make a cord of wood in less than an hour with stuff like this. And when you compare, junkier stuff like this up here. Now, granted, this is still great firewood. This is a cherry log, great species, great burning, but it's got a crook in it, and it just takes longer to process than running it through the firewood processor. You're talking about a chainsaw, a log splitter, and if you really sit down and compare what 3 hours with the Yappa can do versus 3 hours with a chainsaw and an Eastimate axis, I know what I'd rather be doing. And when you have your pick of the litter and you've got to get rid of some stuff so it doesn't go to waste, I'd rather be doing the small skinny poles through the firewood processor. So what I'm gonna do is as I sort through this stuff, I'm gonna be cutting it in half, placing it over in the pile for the Yappa firewood processor. Anything that won't go through the firewood processor, we are going to load in the dump trailer and list for sale. So we're gonna cut it down to 13 foot. The dump trailer is 14 foot long, so that'll give me a little bit of wiggle room to get the doors in the back closed. And yeah, we'll see if anybody would be interested in buying this. All right, so here's a quick rundown of how this is gonna work. We've got about 5 piles we're working from. This is the raw material out of the woods. This is all of the stuff that we are going to cut. This is kind of our staging area. You can see I put down one runner there. That way I've got a pivot point or a hinge point that I can come up from the bottom and cut and then come from the top. That way it'll fall down without pinching the saw. And then from here, once we get them cut, we're gonna start sorting them into stuff that's gonna go for the Yappa. Here's a pile that I am setting aside for stuff I wouldn't feel good about selling regardless. You can see this one here is all punky and dry rotted. This one here is split the whole way up the tree. That was a barber chair. This one's punky and dry rotted. So all the junk wood that's just gonna be campfire wood or, just bonfire wood, honestly, is gonna go in a pile here. And then we already got one log that's going in the dump trailer. And you can see this is the kind of stuff that I'm gonna sell to somebody who wants to just cut it up and, you know, save some money by putting in some work themselves. You know, a fellow with a chainsaw and a log splitter that doesn't want to pay for a dump trailer load of premium pre-split, pre-seasoned firewood, but he wants to put a little work in himself and save some money. So that's kind of what we're up against here. All right, guys, there we go. We got the roadside firewood stand. We got our dump trailer load of logs, $300 per load. We're gonna talk about that here in a second. But then once we brought that down, I thought we should bring a basket down here too. And that way we have a firewood option for just about every buyer here. I borrowed my mom's artistic talents to make up a couple more signs with her calligraphy that then matches the roadside firewood stand. Obviously, people will need to get a hold of me for a dump trailer load of logs. It's not just as easy as a self-serve stand where people can just pull in, grab wood and go. I will need to deliver this. As far as the basket goes, what I'll probably do, this will just be like kind of the display basket. I'll probably end up parking another one right over there beside the roadside stand. That way people can either, load up from the stand or load up from a basket. That way I won't have to be delivering these. And then you can see we did put our phone number on the bottom. We've got that covered up, but we'll go ahead and take it off as soon as we finish filming here. So let's talk about the price that we set on this dump trailer load of logs. This was something that I actually struggled with coming up what my number was gonna be for quite a while. Obviously, I want it to be affordable so people can buy it. I was originally thinking $200, but the more I thought about it, triaxle loads of logs right now are going for about $1,000. And so if I was gonna sell this for $200, I think it would take about 4 of these to equal a triaxle load of logs. So it would be $800 if people bought 4 of these versus $1,000 for a triaxle load. And typically when you buy something in smaller quantities, the price goes up, not down. So I knew we needed to be a little bit higher than $200. Now that's looking at it from the supply side. Let's look at it from the consumer side. So over there, we are selling a quarter cord of firewood for $125, which would mean that a full cord would be $500, which I know people are gonna lose their minds when I say $500 for a cord of wood. But again, the supply side is now $1,000 for a triaxle load of logs. So the cost to make this stuff has gone up. When we first started buying triaxle loads of logs, you could get a triaxle load for about $600, and now they are $1,000. So that's a pretty substantial increase in the cost of raw material. I know at the same time, I was selling a cord of firewood for about $360. So I don't think the jump from $360 to $500 is that bad when you think about how everything else has gone up. And if you sell a cord of firewood for $360 right now in today's economy, you're probably losing money. All right, so now that I've justified, at least to myself, that a fair price for a cord of firewood is $500, especially when you're only buying it a quarter cord at a time, now let's go back to this. This is easily more than a cord of firewood. It hasn't been cut, it hasn't been split. It's going to take up more room than it does in log form right now. Actually, one thing I probably need to do is take a dump trailer load of logs, set it aside, cut it, split it, and stack it separately so I know roughly how much firewood you would get out of a dump trailer load of logs. But for the sake of making this video today, let's just rough assume that this is a cord and a half worth of wood sitting here once you cut it, split it, and stacked it. And if we're charging $300, that means that's about $200 for a cord. And when you compare that to the $500 for pre-split, pre-seasoned, all of that stuff, you're saving $300 per cord to do the work yourself. So from the supply side or the consumer side, I think $300 is pretty close to about what we should be charging for a dump trailer load of logs. Now that also is going to include delivery within 10, 15 miles. Anything further than that, we will start to charge delivery, but let me know what you guys think of $300 for a dump trailer load of logs. Again, this is a 7x14 dump trailer. Anyways, guys, like I said before, now we've got something for just about everybody. We live in a very rural area, and I think a lot of people don't like spending $20 for a rack of firewood when they feel like they can do it themselves. But now we've got something for those DIYers that want to make their own firewood and save some money. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this one, give me a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.